Everyone. Today we are going to talk about the feedback loop of the growth hormone, that how and when are the circumstances that the growth hormone will be released. So let's suppose here we have the hypothalamus, and then we have this anterior pituitary gland. In the hypothalamus, we have some nucleuses which are involved in the release of growth hormone releasing hormone, and also there is some inhibitory factors which are released, and they are called as somatostatin, which inhibits the secretion of the growth hormone. So in the hypothalamus we have a nucleus which we call is arcuate nucleus. Arcuate nucleus. This arcuate nucleus, it will release a factor which is called as growth hormone releasing hormone to the anterior pituitary gland. Similarly, there is also one another nucleus which we call as the ventromedial nucleus. Ventromedial nucleus. This hormone, it will release the somatostatin. Somatostatin, and it is actually the inhibiting factor for the growth hormone. So now let's talk about that when this hypothalamus, it will be stimulated so that the growth hormone releasing hormone will be released. This is a positive factor for the growth hormone, while the somatostatin, it is the inhibiting factor. So whenever we are in stress, we are in deep sleep, or we are doing an excessive exercise, so what will happen? These hypothalamus cells will stimulate it, and the growth hormone releasing hormone will be released from the arcuate nucleus, and it will come down to the pituitary gland. And in the pituitary gland we have cells which are called as somatotropes. Somato, it's from taken from the body, and it is from tropic. Trophic means growth action or some developmental actions. So these cells in the anterior pituitary, which is called as somatotropes, they are responsible for the releasement of growth hormones. So when this growth hormone will come to the anterior pituitary, it will release growth hormone. Now there are some other factors in our body which are responsible for the releasement of growth hormones, but it doesn't act on the hypothalamus, it acts on the anterior pituitary gland. Now what is this? The first one, it is the ghrelin. Ghrelin, it is a hormone which is released when the person is either fasting or he is very hungry in satiety conditions. So this ghrelin will be released, and this ghrelin will come and it will have the positive action on the anterior pituitary gland. So when the person is hungry or he is in the fasting condition or in a satiety state, and the blood glucose level of the person is low, means there is less level of glucose in the blood of the person, or if the person is in deep sleep, he is sleeping so much deeply, we will explain these factors later, and also some amino acids. So these all have positive impact on the anterior pituitary gland, on the somatotropes, and it will increase the production of what? Growth hormones. Now, once this growth hormone is released, this growth hormone works in two fashions. Either this will work directly or it will work indirectly. So how indirectly and how directly? Indirectly, this growth hormone, it will come to the liver. It will, in the liver, it will activate the growth hormone, which is the receptor JAK state pathway, which we explained it in the our last lecture, the genus kinase and the state pathway. So when this pathway will be activated, it will be converted into insulin like growth factors 1, which we also call this as somatomedians. And then it will go through the blood and it will do its function. Number second, it is the indirect function of the growth hormone. In the bones also, something like this. When the growth hormones will come here in the bones, it will activate the insulin-like growth factors 1 receptors. When these receptors will be activated, it will work on the osteoblast and the chondrocytes, which are the cells in the bones, and it will do the ossification process. Ossification, it is simple, bone formation process. Now, if the growth hormone will be so much more pathologically, so what will happen? There will be two diseases in the bones which it can cause, and these diseases, when the growth hormone is pathologically so much more, so we will have either gigantism or acromegaly. Now, this gigantism and acromegaly, it occurs in different stages of life. For example, if the growth hormone is so much more, if the growth hormone is so much more in before the adolescent, so then we will have gigantism. And if the epiphysis of the bones is stopped after the adolescent, so then we will have acromegaly. And if the growth hormone is pathologically low, then what will happen? Then there will be two conditions of dwarfism. Either it can be lori-lori dwarfism or it can be simple dwarfism. Now, what is lori-lorin? In the lori-lorin dwarfism, we have excess of growth hormone, but actually it is not converting into the somatomedians, or there is some problems in these receptors. So that's why we call it lori-lori dwarfism, because of what? That we have enough growth hormones, but there is problem in its receptor, or it is not converting into insulin like growth factors, which we called it somatomedians. In the muscles, what will do this growth hormone? In the muscles, it will activate the JAK state pathway, and it will do the muscle cells growth and also the survival of the muscles. So if there will be growth hormone excess, so we have some soft tissues expansions here, and the skin, it will get thicker, and also we will have some disorders and some syndromes like carpal tunnel syndrome. This is in the muscles, it do like this, but here this is the pathological case which I discuss it. It if will increase pathologically more, what will it do in the muscles? Now, growth hormones also works on the adipose tissues. So what it will do, that actually this growth hormone, when it is released, it activates the lipolysis. So lipo, it means fats, and lysis, it is splitting. So it actually do the breakdown of the lipids. So when this breakdown happens, then this in the blood we will have free fatty acids. Now how it is actually the byproduct when the lipids breakdown occurs, then we have so much free fatty acids in our blood. So now when this free fatty acids is more, it will inhibit the phosphorylation of state 5. Now what is state 5? We discussed it in the Jack state pathway before, that actually this state 5, it is the growth hormone dependent, and uh, for the before the phosphorylation of state 5, it is not activated. When this state 5 is phosphorylated, then it is activated and it will do the synthesis of the protein and it will go to the nucleus. So it when this free fatty acid is more, so it will inhibit the phosphorylation of this, and because of this it will change the effect of the growth hormone. Now here in the adipose tissues, if we have excess of growth hormones, so what will happen? There will be the metabolic abnormalities which will come in our body, and if pathologically growth hormone is less, so then the person will have, so it will obese, and there will be the abnormal number of lipids, like dangerous lipids, which is the low density lipoprotein. They will be excess in our body, and the person will be so much fatty. Now here, when the blood glucose is more, when the glucose level of our blood it is more, or there is a condition hypothyroidism in our body, or if there is obesity, so it will also have negative impact on the anterior pituitary gland. Now let's talk about the feedback loop. So it's very simple. We have two feedback loops. One is long feedback loop and another one is short feedback loop. Now what does short feedback loop means? For example, if the growth hormone is more here, so this somatostatin, it will directly come on the interior to the anterior pituitary, and here it will say to the somatotropes, it will block the production of what? Growth hormone. This is a short feedback loop that it only involves the hypothalamus and the anterior pituitary. This is short feedback loop. Now what does long feedback? Let's suppose we have here in the liver, this is converted into the growth hormone, it's converted into insulin like growth factors 1, or there is so much for example free fatty acids in our body, or there is so much blood glucose in our body, so it means we will have high insulin like growth factors in our body. So if this is insulin like growth factors are somatomedians, these are more in our body, so what will happen? This will go directly here to the hypothalamus, and here is are to the anterior pituitary, and it will do what? It will do the inhibition of this growth hormone. So we have these two feedback loops. Thank you.